So last night was Sauble Beach. And you know what? I had unbelievable amount of fun. Turned out to be, we watched a great night of racing. The little go-kart things with the Polaris motors. I don't know what their actual title is, but they were awesome. They were going so fast. They had spotters. I was standing with the spotters. Fun to watch. Made a great night at the Speedway. If you guys are looking for something to do with your family, I highly recommend going to a Speedway. You know, it's a great family outing. But I had an unbelievable amount of fun. It wasn't just a derby. It was something different. And then something that I don't normally do is I got to sit on the track and people came down and wanted my autograph. And all these kids wanted to sit in my car. I must have lifted 15 kids into my car at one point in time. So, made sure none of them got hurt though, because there was no sharp edges. It was a fun night. It's something a little different for me. I don't really get to do a lot of stuff like that. If you guys remember from my video, I said that I had a plan. And I told you guys that my bumper, even though it's ripping through the frame here, my bumper would not stand up to the square tubing bumpers. And I was correct. It definitely did not stand up to square tubing bumpers. I'm going to have to cut this bumper off now and put something different on it. Because I'm not going to run this bumper like this, especially with the front frame rails this good. And definitely ripped in half. Now that's a weird place for these Mazdas to break. I must have taken a square tubing to the front of this car. But it kind of looks like it's wanting to roll down, which is something different. I don't really have that many Toyotas wanting to roll down. Looks like this seam right here is starting to separate and definitely ripped into it. But anyway. When I went there, tech was a little bit different than what I was expecting. They were concerned that I pre-bent the back of my car the way it was. I had to show them a video of this thing running from Barrie so that they didn't think it was pre-ran. So thank God for my wife and YouTube, because I've never had that problem before. But if you guys remember, I had a plan saying that I was going to drive backwards, and by golly, did I drive backwards. I may have driven backwards a little bit longer than I should have, because there's not a whole lot left of this car. They ended up moving it from the asphalt to the dirt, probably last minute. They built the track on asphalt and then moved it to the dirt. Something is dragging hard, maybe that. The sounds this car was making when I was trying to drive it across the asphalt to get to my trailer was unbelievable. But back frame came in beautifully. Like I said, these guys all had square tubing, and I drove backwards the entire, oh my God, there's my strut. Oh God. But gas tank protector's doing what it should, and can't ask anything more than that. Wow. That's going to be difficult to get out. But, you know what, some new back tires, a new trailing arm, and maybe try to make it so you can see out the back. This thing is still good for another run. Maybe one more. But like I said, it needs a different front bumper. Oh yeah, this one here too, it's going down. I've never had a Toyota Camry want to go down before. But this thing is pretty much bone stock. There is nothing done to this except this plate, and I didn't even weld the back side of the plate, so it shows how much effort I put into it. But wow, bumper splitting there, ripped in the middle. Car ran great, but I think the transmission is really mad at me. And the reason for that is it used to have like a 2-second delay from drive to reverse, and that's now gone up to like a 3.5, maybe 4-second delay. Oh, so the front of this thing is still good, but the transmission, I might have to swap it. When I got the transmission, it had that delay issue, but because I've ran it so many times now, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. But not much I can do to it. If I have to swap it out, I gotta swap it out. I tried to avoid front end shots all night. I think somebody got one on me, maybe two on angles, but their bumpers were so long it would just hit here and just kind of hit the edge of the tire, but most of it was on frame. Maybe that's why she's bending down, because everybody's bumpers were hitting me low. Maybe that's what it is. But I tried, like I said, I kept trying to put my front end to the outside corner. This track here, they left big gaps, so if you got pushed between them, you could just back right up into them. So you couldn't really be pushed on the blocks. If you went up to go to the blocks, you always aimed in between, because if they hit you, they just shove you out and you'd back up. That way you get no block damage as well. But yeah, back end, I've never really used the back of a Camry this much. And I think the Avalon taught me that I should back up a little bit more. But no, I'm pretty happy with this. How bad is this strut? Well, this strut's really bad because I've already spaced it out. I don't know. I'm going to have to take some time and look at this. Is the trailing arms or anything bent back here? No, trailing arms are not bent. It's rubbing hard, I know that, so we're going to have to cut some of the sheet metal away. But trim's in my way there. Gas tank protector did what it was supposed to, but the floor kind of gave out just a bit. But gas tank protector is doing what it was supposed to and keeping me safe. The whole floor is out, like on that back passenger side. I bet you that floor is 6 inches higher than what it should be. But I found it funny in tech. They said, you have to take the floor mat out of your car. So I was like, I kind of need it there. So I lifted it and showed them the floors. And they're like, yeah, just keep that floor mat there then. And I was like, perfect, guys. But, you know, other than the transmission, this thing ran fantastic. It didn't skip a beat. It stalled twice. One time I was backing up and a driver door got pulled on me, so I slammed on the brakes real hard and it stalled, but it fired right up. And the other time I got smoked really hard in the back and it stalled. But again, as soon as I touched the wire, it fired right back up. Near the end, it did turn off, but it was hot. If you guys take a look, I don't have a radiator in this thing. So basically just loop the lines and go. And I think it was like 17, 18 minutes, there was a fire, and then somebody drove on somebody else's hood. So it was probably like a 20-minute feature, 22-minute by the time I drove in. And it was getting really hot. Like, I don't think there's any water left in this thing. Is there any water left in it? Oh, well, that's right. You pull this one to see if there's water in it. Ugh. Nope, she's bone dry, boys and girls. But anyway. Had fun last night. There's 8 of us showed up for $2,000, and that's actually very rare around me. Usually if it's big money, you'll have a big amount of cars show up. Dresden was $5,000 to win, and I'm pretty sure there was about 45 minis there. Fall Brawl hasn't happened in a couple years, but when Greg and Impact used to do it, it was $10,000 to win. And the one year I went, there was like 125 cars to run that. Wreck at the Lex last year, I think, was $2,000 to win, and there was 40 cars there. So, you know, it's as soon as there's big money, there's usually a very high car count. My problem was I don't think the Speedway advertised it very well. I actually found out about it about 6 days before the event, and it was just sent to me by a buddy. And I had to actually phone and get some rules. That's another thing. I phoned and talked to a guy and asked a whole bunch of rules at the Speedway. And then I get there, and he says that guy is not here. He's in Nova Scotia. Sorry, Newfoundland. So it's kind of crappy. They're asking me who said I could do this and who said I could do this, like this. And I told them the guy's name, and they're like, oh, he's in Newfoundland. He's not here. And it's like, oh, well, that's good. They wanted me to remove it all, and I said, well, he told me I could do it. They wanted me to take out my threaded rod up here. I was like, well, he told me I could do it. I phoned him. So, other than that, it was a great night. The wife and I enjoyed some very awesome Speedway action. There were some puppies there I petted. I love petting puppies. And I pulled out a second place win. I lost number 55, Josh Archambault, but he was in a Camry wagon, so I kind of attacked the back of it because I knew I couldn't beat the front of his car, and apparently I couldn't beat the back of it either because his wagon was starting to hit my roof. That's right, guys. His wagon was starting to hit my roof, and I knew that my cameras are up here, but it was getting pretty damn close. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. This is the aftermath of the car from Sauble Beach. This is a 98 Toyota Camry, question mark. But it was a fun night. Definitely go back next year if they have it. And probably bring a much tougher car that will actually hold up in the front. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you back here tomorrow.